I'm in Australia, but I'm not going to tell you where. And a mate of mine asked me to come over for a beer, which, by the way, I'll always do. This one is in a Jack Miller Stubby. Yes, this is called a Stubby. And I'm a big Jack Miller fan, so I had to jump right on it. Anyway, let me show you what's going on over here and show you what is in this really cool collection. If I can figure out how to turn this phone around. All right, by now you already know I'm a big RC45, RC30 fan. This one has the shotgun style Termies, which are right up my alley. Beyond that, what makes it special, besides the fact that it's in Australia, doing stickers, 3-spoke wheels, and I think these are the old school PVMs, but I'm not for sure. Are these PVMs?
Yeah, and Mick signed it.
And Mick signed it. Well, this goes to show you, I was born in Australia, and Australians obviously have great taste. So let's start off with that one, RC45. I'm gonna skip the Laverta for a minute because I don't know a lot about that one in particular. RC30, and if you're an Iconic fan, you know how much we love RC30s. This one is an Aussie spec bike, so it's full power, small headlights. Some guys like the big bug eye headlights. I actually prefer, I don't know, I like both. Great looking bike. Moving on. If you're a Honda guy, you've got to mix in some classic Hondas. There's an old CB750. And this one looks very original. Nice exhaust. Very cool. This is where it gets really neat. So if you don't have a lot of space and maybe you can't afford all the cool bikes, these mini collectibles are so awesome. He's got a bunch of them. And if you remember, if you've followed Iconic for a while, this 46 bike, I had a replica of that I was riding around for a while. And I tried to buy back recently, but he wouldn't sell it. Some of these are actually super rare and quite sought after. That Nicky bike in particular is kind of the pinnacle of the collection. But moving on, RC30s. Oh, I like that one, that's cool. So funny, I'm spending more time looking at these mini bikes than I am the full ones, but I'll get back to those in a minute. Down here, a bunch of 999s all mixed in. Some more Ducatis, they get a little smaller as we get lower. Anyway, back to the bikes. So again, we have the CB that I just showed you, RC30, RC45, this beautiful dog. The Laverta 500, I'm trying to remember, what's that?
The Manjui parallel twin.
Parallel twin. Laverta, this one's really nice. My buddy Jay over at Tesla has a really cool Laverta that I ride with often. Obviously, not very well versed in them. This is really neat. So a very special pocket bike. We just sold a pocket bike. A big kind of tribute to the world's best MotoGP rider. At least the coolest anyway. And as you can see, this one's custom painted and done up really well. Has this one ever been started? You said no, right?
No.
On the walls, really neat memorabilia, cool helmets. This is neat. So an early 916 with just about every single possible car. What's that? Is that a tank for it?
That was a bad moment in time, as you can see.
Oh geez, I didn't see that.
But I didn't decide to put a Ducati in it.
Let me guess, you ran out of petrol, slammed the tank like it's true Aussie.
And put the Ducati in the tank.
Oh, look at that. Oh, that's funny. Oh, I didn't see that. Oh, that is funny. Did you do that? That's actually pretty smart. I like that. And you get the old school elephant style tank.
Yeah.
That dent's pretty horrid.
My knees were pretty hard with that.
I bet. It's got a rotating stand for this one. You know, I see a lot of collections and man caves, if you will. I don't know if that's a political term anymore. But this one's neat because you have all these cool riders, all the special memorabilia. Great place to have beers. There's some girls on the wall because that's required. But anyway, back to this 916, full of carbon parts. These really neat fork bottoms that I don't remember ever seeing these before. The old classic Dymags with the magnesium hubs and the carbon on the outside. Great looking bike, full carbon bike, like I said, and just loaded with special parts and oil and forks. This one is a 1098R Bayless. As far as classic Ducatis go, especially this year, this is a personal favorite because they incorporated the Aussie flag, and I'm a huge Aussie fan. It's got Bayless's number on it. Very cool bike, very original, very much sought after, and one bike I will own again. Here we have a 749R. Again, another sought after bike. 749R is the one with all the carbon on it. And the Olin's forks, radial calipers, Marchi wheels, Marchesini wheels. This one has some aftermarket parts, as you can see. Really cool dry clutch unit, or showing the dry clutch, I should say. Very neat. And you can't have a collection of Ducatis without having some classics in here. So obviously an 888 SP5 with Termes on it. The #1 placard on the back because it's a really winning bike. This is the one that Doug rode in back then, wasn't it? I think so. A super light that has a couple little marks on it here and there, but otherwise exceptionally cool. With like super lights. And back in the corner, most certainly not least, Desmo Sedici D16 RR. Iconic. Just picked one of these up for me to ride because I'm a big fan of Desmos, and
Have a look at the number plate on it.
oh my gosh, you have to sell me this license plate. WA, Western Australia. So more little things on the wall to show a really cool man cave. Really cool posters on the ceiling. This is an iconic picture. Much of you, or many of you, are going to recognize the 916 in a crate. In fact, we had a client try to replicate this from us recently. He bought one, I think about a year ago, had a crate made and put it in his house, just like that. Bunch of little mini bikes, as we said before. Let me show you a couple cool things that jumped out at me, which I think are really neat. Oh gosh, it's a great picture, by the way. Just shows you how good the brakes are on these things. Cool way to open your fridge. Fork bottoms. There you go, like that. And a lock because, you know, keep it safe from the dog. They told me it took, oh, pardon my arm here. It took a better part of 24 hours to build this model kit. And if you've ever seen one of these, it's rather large. Here's like my hand next to it. It's actually quite big and exceptionally heavy. Some cool signed artwork, memorabilia, Ducati banners. But here's one thing I really love, and I know this is just minimal. Look at these chairs. So your armrests are older Ducati exhausts, and the exhaust swings back around the back, which I think is really special. And if you have a crash lid or a bad helmet, you know, you don't want to throw them away, and you don't want to use them again. But this is super functional. So I'm gonna put this message out there to my wife, Tia, if you're watching this. We're getting rid of the furniture, baby. I'm gonna make some of this stuff and have some new furniture for the house. Anyway, one more quick tour. Bunch of cool Ducatis all the way through. This guy here, Hondas as well. All the way through. And most important, my new mates. Thank you, sir, for having me.
Anytime.
And you as well. This gentleman over here actually had us sell his RC8C, and we didn't get reserve, but we got close, and he sold it just afterwards. And these beers here, those belong to the dog.